Hello and welcome to the Latrice Show. Listen, if you have been thinking to yourself, what should I do next? I'm ready to step out in my purpose, but I'm not quite sure how to do it. I might be biased, but my guest today in the Be Inspired Cafe, I feel like is going to drop some nuggets on you today. We are talking about how your gift will make room for you. So if you've been wondering what steps to take, how to step out, how to really own your passion without apology, then today's episode is for you. So I'm telling you, lean a little closer to your screen, grab a friend, tag somebody, tell someone. My guest in the Be Inspired Cafe today is going to have y'all ready to take off running, literally. So we'll be right back. I spent years living all the way in the box, afraid to step out, afraid to truly grab hold of my dream. And now I am breaking through, and I invite you to join me.
Your breakthrough starts now. Coming up on today's show, get ready to be inspired and transformed with our featured guests. Find out what's trending and get advice on life's daily challenges with Erica's top tips of the day. All of this and so much more coming up, so stay tuned. This is your one-stop shop for inspiration. The Erica Latrice Show. And now, here's your host, Erica.
All right, welcome back. In the Be Inspired Cafe today, we have powerhouse, trailblazing. He has had a background in basketball, but now he has stepped out and taking it to a next level as an entrepreneur, community leader, inspiration to the young, to the old, to the middle, everything in between. Welcome with me into the Be Inspired Cafe, Antwan Scott. How are you doing today, Antwan?
What's up? How you doing?
All is well. So I wanted to get all into your background. You are a native of New Bern. You attended, I guess, one of the greatest high schools, because I'm biased. Shout out to everyone in New Bern, Oak Hill Academy, Wake Forest alum. You have traveled the world, Harlem Globetrotter, and now, as if that wasn't enough, you are still making an impact. So can you tell us just like a little bit about yourself and what you would hope the world would know that you do for those that haven't connected with you?
Well, like you said, I'm from New Bern, born and raised right here in New Bern. I bleed it. It's in me. Um, I'm just one of those guys, man. If you know me, like you know how I am. I take one day at a time, and I just roll with it pretty much. I believe in myself. I believe in my ability, and I believe in my passion. I believe in my vision. So, I tell kids all the time, look, if you got an idea, you got a vision, you got goals, stick with it. Don't let nobody tell you can't do it. And that's what got me through everything. People told me I wasn't going to go to college. Well, I made that look easy. They said I wasn't going to graduate. I made that look easy. So I made a lot of hard work, but people don't really see that part of it. They don't see the behind the scenes stuff. So when I was able to showcase my talent, or even me graduation day, I let you know that I was there. So I'm have a good time. I'm gonna celebrate. So.
Yes. So there are a few things that stand out to me about you. I actually remember I did my homework. So I was reading an article and even looking at some of your highlights. But one thing that stands out about me, to me about you, is the joy, like the smile that's on your face. And I get to see that, now in the role that you have. But even like after you would straight dunk on somebody or embarrass someone in a game, you're coming back up the court smiling. And there was a whole, even a write-up about you, and just the joy, the laughter, the stress-freeness that you bring to what you do. So I want to go back to the beginning. When did you know that this was the path that you wanted to take, and that basketball was something that brought you joy that you would pursue?
Well, I've always been that way, even before basketball. That always been my style, pretty much. I like to have fun, and whether it was baseball, which is the sport I played first, I was the same way. We go out there, we compete, and I'm having fun. So I try not to take it too serious. I understand how important it is to win. I want to win, but you got to have fun while you're doing it as well. So I take that approach pretty much to everything in your life. Like I said, I'll give you a quick little story. My senior year of college, I have a new coach, and I remember our first little scrimmage game we had. I'm smiling the whole time. I'm having a good time. And he grabbed me. He was like, "Twan, stop smiling so much. There's nothing funny out there." And I said, "Coach, when I'm not smiling, you need to worry about me." probably about halfway through the season, I had like 2 bad games. I was going through some personal stuff off the court, and coach called me into his office, and he showed me all these clips of me smiling, and then he showed me all these clips of me just putting my head down. He said, "Now you told me this on this day at this time. If you wasn't smiling, I need to worry about you." He's like, "So now I'm worried about you," and I just let it all out, And like I said, that's just been me. So.
That's so huge to me. And like I said, I get to see you now with what you do at 8-Way and the impact that you make on kids. And it's so cool to me to see someone in their element smiling and it not feel like work. So what would you say to someone that's watching now that's trying to uncover what that thing is that lights them up? Or how did you know that, how do you recognize that you're doing something that's worth your time and your energy?
Well, somebody asked me last week, like, have any of this hit me yet? And my answer is still no. Like, I haven't really hit me yet because like it's so in me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm here every day. You see me. I'm the same way. Even there's times where I probably could not be so happy because something happened in the building, something got broken, anything. But I still keep that same energy, and that's what kind of gets me through the day. But like I said, it's in me to do this. It's not something I just wanted. Like I bleed it, and I have a good time doing it. And I look forward to getting here and being around the kids, even when we get new kids in. I mean, you've seen how I am with the kids that have been here from day one, and you've seen how I've been with the kids who just got here. So, I mean, like I said, it's in me. I just love it.
Yes. So there is something that stands out to me about, I would say, most anyone that I find successful. And if y'all are watching, you will see everyone that I'm interviewing, it's because they genuinely have inspired me. It's not just I don't know, put something out here. Like it's really inspirational people. So you remind me of, there was an interview I was watching with Kobe Bryant. Well, actually I saw a couple. It was Jason Williams and Chris Bosh. Like a few times they were talking about Kobe's work ethic and how I don't care how much they would try to beat him to the gym. Jason Williams was talking about having a game, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to show up to the arena early and get this workout in." And he got there, and Kobe was already drenched.
There. Yeah, it was
right.
Already there.
And it was cool to me because when Kobe would talk about it from his standpoint, he always said it never really felt like work. When people say he worked hard, he's like, that's what he loved. So I would love to hear from you, like in your day, because I feel like we structure our days and we put our energy and time around what matters. What are some tips that you would have, or what's like important for you on a daily basis, like a day in the life of Antwan? What does that look like?
Well, I try to get in a routine and stay in a routine. Like now that school started back, I can get in like a good routine. So for me, it's really just getting into a good routine, just finding my stride, and I just had that same energy all day long. So the routine for me is real important. I try to get in here early. You might not know this, but I get here some days and I will go over drills before I even do them with the kids because I got to make sure that they can get it. I got to keep my skills sharp myself. So it's for me just finding my groove, just staying in that groove all day, keeping that energy up high.
So if you had to narrow it down to your principles for going forward, because I know like life is not always easy, but you keep showing up, you continue to press forward, you continue to make an impact. What are some keys that stand out to you, maybe quotes that you lean on or advice that you got that helps you keep showing up?
I really don't have no quotes. I grew up with living with my great grandmother, and I just watched her struggle. Well, she didn't really struggle. I just watched her grind. She worked 3, 4 jobs, never been on welfare. Just some of the stories she used to give me, and that keeps me going a lot because I was very close to her. So just watching her just grow up, living with her, just watching her moves, and just some of the stories that she was giving me, that really got me through a lot of good times.
Okay, so I want to get into this because I feel like we all have our favorites, and it's always interesting. So I have 2 questions kind of on this one. Let's start with your favorite. Who's your all-time favorite basketball player, and why? Like, what do you admire the most?
It's for me, it's Michael Jordan. I grew up in that era of watching Michael Jordan as a young kid when I was really starting to love basketball. So Michael Jordan has definitely been one of those guys for me. I think he's the greatest to ever play. Well, he's second. He's behind me, of course, but yeah, Michael Jordan. I just love the way that he approached the game. He took on every challenge. They said he wasn't strong enough. He got stronger. People that know me, I wasn't a real big muscular guy. So a lot of people said I wasn't going to be able to play a certain level in college, but I did it, so every year I came back with something new.
So that's something I think is interesting that you say that, but I think it's also going to be helpful for a lot of people. How many times you were counted out, or how many people said you wouldn't achieve what you achieved. And I'm sure even now there are people that don't necessarily celebrate to the level of what you've been able to accomplish. So for anyone out there that's dealing with that, because I know like for a lot of people, that's enough to just cause them to quit. It's enough to make them not feel good enough to step out. What are your thoughts around that? Like, what tips would you have for someone that's dealing with a lot of negative feedback, or maybe they don't have a big support system to go towards their goals?
I'll be honest, a lot. Like I can understand why some people said I wasn't gonna make it. I hold myself accountable for everything. So like I can see why some people said that. And it might have been because I'm not a big school guy. That was never my thing growing up. I was the class clown. So I can understand why some people said that. But they didn't really know me either. You know what I'm saying? So it was just more of that. Once people started telling me I couldn't do something, and it's something that I really wanted to do, that's what started like that fire. You know what? I'm gonna prove everybody wrong. And it just became that every year it was something. It was always something. So I had to come back and show them next year. I had to come back with something different every time. And I'm still dealing with it. Some people said I wasn't gonna do this, and look where we at.
Yes.
We started in March, and we're still here. We're still getting new equipment. We got new faces coming in. You come in every week, it seems like something new in here. So and the feedback has been great.
Absolutely. And you can tell like there's certain things that you can't fake. And that's when I was talking about even like your passion and how genuine you are. You can't fake it. And every time I see you in that element, like it's like joy, so much joy.
Yeah.
Even the kids will be like, Coach Twan's always excited. They never feel like, it's a burden. So my question to you is, when you think about the impact that you're making right now, if you could sum up, what do you hope every child whose life that you're able to touch, even the adults whose lives that you touch, what do you hope people walk away with when they connect with you?
How important it is to come back and get back to youth. Because like you said, like you inspire so many kids. And my thing is this, and I always said this to athletes behind me. You're gonna be me one day, whether you're playing sport, no matter what it is. Come back, inspire the youth, into the community, so we can keep this thing going. This is important to me. And I always gave back. I always got in the community, done the events. I always been a part of events. So this is my thing. Growing up, did not have that. I didn't have that. I didn't have an athlete come back and grab me and put me under their wing. I didn't have an athlete come back and do events, and I was showing up to them and I was getting inspired. I didn't get my inspiration from that because we didn't have that. So I made sure that was something that I did.
So I would love to know like the process with what you've been able to do to continue, because many people feel like maybe once a set part of their career. And I love how this one lady puts it, Connie, if she's watching, she calls like different phases in her life, act 1, act 2, act 3. In her 70s, she started, she invented something like amazing. And I see you that with all of these acts, you continue to show up, to stay innovative, to stay creative. What encouragement would you give to someone that maybe they feel like their first act is winding down, like college has to end, certain things have to end, it's time to transition? What tips would you give to someone to just keep looking forward and get innovative?
Well, I mean, that's life. We're gonna grow. You're gonna have to take different steps. Like I said, you're gonna grow. From me even changing high schools, that was a big step. I never wanted to leave New Bern, and I had to leave. So like I said, that was a step, but I never got down on myself. I stayed positive. I kept the main thing. So I always knew what I wanted to do, and I just, stayed on track.
That's interesting to me too, because going to Oak Hill from New Bern is actually kind of amazing for those of you that don't know about New Bern. It's not really little. But was there ever a time, like, I think of it as like a pinch me moment. Was there ever a time when you look back where it just felt unreal, some of the things that you were able to accomplish or the opportunities that came to you?
Well, No, I won't even say because of Oak Hill, because I was one of those kids, fortunate enough to be able to play travel ball at a young age. So I was already seeing the country. Now I was already traveling around the country on one of the top AAU teams, probably ever to come out of Eastern North Carolina. And I went to Oklahoma City. I've been all over the place, and be recognized, by Nike and Adidas as one of the top players, and get invited to all these camps. So like, it was a lot, coming, and it was happening so fast. It was happening so fast. Like I was in a different state every weekend for like 3.5 years of my life. So, it was a lot early. So, it was a great thing though. It was great.
So I want to talk to some of the youth, maybe like whose parents maybe watching or sharing. One of the things that you mentioned too is being on a sponsor AAU team, and like as you got older, like understanding like, wow, this isn't everyone's experience. Like that's just not what people have access to. And I love that you've made it your goal to give other kids access to some of the things that you had access to that others don't. So what encouragement would you give to someone, maybe like the 14-year-old version of you that maybe didn't have all the people looking at them or the support behind them? What tips would you give to like the 14-year-old that has a dream to get into basketball?
Well, one thing I like to tell kids now to, get with somebody who's been down the road you're trying to go down. We kids trying to get away from that. Like I've said, from going to prep school, going to college, traveled to 45 different countries. Like I've done it all, and a lot of these kids want to do that. So you think they would even try to pick my brain a little bit, but that's why I try to give them the information. I try to share stories with them because I've been down that road they're trying to go down.
Have you noticed any differences? I know I have. Like when you think about the mindset aspect, which I think is huge, of those that you played at higher levels of basketball with versus people that just kind of casually went after their goals. Have you noticed, or do you think that there's anything different about that mindset or the types of things people should be picking your brain about?
Well, it's definitely a different era for sure. My era was different. These kids got access to way more stuff than we had access to. Like the 8-Way Center. I wish I had something like this coming up. You had to pull me away from here. I had to get kicked out because I was spending all my time here. We didn't have all, you see what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
Even the technology that we have today, like you see some of the equipment we got back here. I didn't have access to any of that. So I tell kids, don't take anything for granted. The shoes that I played in during the school season was the shoes I got the beginning of the school year. I didn't get another pair of shoes until Christmas. So I have photos with me with my first day of school shoes. By the time the season started, I got a hole in the front of the shoe. These kids now got 4 or 5 pair of the most expensive shoes. And I'm guilty of that too. But with my son and but like I said, it's kind of like how I grew up. I didn't have, so I want to make sure he have everything. So he'll get an opportunity. I want to make sure he's gonna be ready for anything coming his way. So.
Yes. And I feel like times are different now, because even when we think about the access to the internet, like in times past, if someone was going to send out a highlight reel, either somebody needs to be at that game or you're chopping up VHS tapes, and mailing them out. So when you look at the opportunities available now, even with the ability to just go viral on Instagram or YouTube, not necessarily how would you do it different, but knowing what's available now, what do you think is like a wise decision that parents, maybe with children in sports or aspiring athletes, how could they take advantage of what they have access to now?
One thing I would say, get with the right people. Who's with the right people. The internet is there, but a lot of these coaches, you got to be careful because they don't really, they watching what's going on the internet. And guys from my era, like, we good at picking out, oh, this is just a highlight tape. This not a game film. So we can't really tell if, this athlete is a high level, mid-level, or low level. You can't never really tell from a highlight tape. Like, you need actual game footage,
That's good. So this is something too that I would love for you to touch on, because I feel like with the experiences that you had, many of us can't relate. Like you were on the Antwan tour, you have to your point, you traveled the world. Is there anything that stands out to you, or did you ever have a moment where you I don't know why, but it kind of reminds me like Charlie Murphy, how he would give the, his Hollywood tales and those memories that stuck out. Is there one that either a moment that just makes you laugh or smile that you can give us a behind the scenes on?
Yeah, some of those moments I can't put on the internet. But yeah, I mean, like just college. People think what they see on TV is it. Like we just show up to the game. They don't realize like what a day like for a college athlete. My freshman year, I remember being told your social life is now over for the next 4 years. I thought coach was jiving, and he wasn't lying. I mean, our schedule changed. 6 a.m. runs 3 days a week, breakfast at 8 o'clock, class 8:30. It was just your whole day is already mapped out for 4 years, and people only see the game and they think, oh, y'all got it made, but they don't really realize what we go through. So it's so many different stories I can share. I don't think we can do it today, but I'd love to come back and share some of those stories.
Yes. So, and this is something too that I would love to know your thoughts around, because I feel like even the experience as a teenager, like what people don't often realize is that you get this notoriety. People are holding you to certain standards, and you're still like just growing into adulthood at the onset of college. So when you think about even looking back on being an athlete, would you say like there are any pressures that you feel like you faced with people looking at your every move, or kind of, I know like you shared a story with me before too, like the expectations that they have, like you got to be on at all times because
Yeah.
you're like a celebrity. So what are your thoughts around that? Like, what did you learn from that experience?
Yeah, people don't care if you having a bad day. They don't care if you're having a bad day. They want you to show up. But like for me, even the expectations, I hold myself at a high level, so I expect to be a certain way every time. And some days I really don't feel like I have it, and then I just find that one thing that really gets me going. Like even when I play ball to this day, I find ways to like kind of get myself in the zone. Or, I'll give you a little quick story. When the last time I played in the YMCA league, I used to wear a headband all the time, and I just didn't have it this one day. So I saw my headband, I put it on, and I got to talking. I'm like, y'all got headband Antwan today, and it started off as a joke. But then I ended up having my best game of the whole league. So I mean, it's just little things like that that I tap into.
I think that's a thing. The headband, Twan. I think you you might need to bring that
Yeah,
back.
it was crazy because it became a thing the whole day, and I didn't take it off until the games was finished. So it was one of those things. You know.
Yeah. So another thing I noticed too, that you have a tendency to not overthink things. I feel like whenever it's time to step out and take action, we can just get stuck. Most people do get stuck like overthinking it. But most, and I say this about you a lot, if you say you're going to do something, it's like everybody just sit back, give them a few minutes because it's going to happen. Like it's coming to fruition.
Right.
Is there something that you like lean on that helps you not make excuses or not get stuck overthinking and just take action?
Well, remember what I said a little while ago, like, I grew up with my great grandma and she's the same way, so, you heard a lot of the stories, you've seen me in action. That's just how I am. I don't like to be stressed out. I think that's how I still look 20, not 20, but 20 something. I don't like to be stressed out. I like to just have good positive vibes. I like to be in good moods. I like the people around me to be the same way, so if I can even uplift someone, like, that makes me feel so good.
Yes. So you do. And this is one thought too that I have. You do. Has there been a moment, even since you opened up 8-Way, that's like you just had to take a deep breath and think like this made it worth it? Maybe something that a kid has said to you, or an experience that just reminds you that it's all been worth it.
Just coming here every day. It's just, when the kids come sign in and they run into the back. Where I sit. Matter of fact, right where I'm sitting at now, because I'm facing the door. So when they come in and they speak in high energy, running to the back, like that's how I know, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is meant to be, because I'm giving kids an opportunity. I'm giving them a place to come, fellowship, just have a good time.
Yes. So one of the things that you talked about too, and I guess I mean I'm on a Kobe kick right now,
Oh, let's
but
go.
Kobe shared this story the same where when he was a kid he went to go see Michael Jordan play, and as a kid he never thought about what if he didn't feel like it, you know, like you just
Yeah,
expected to see your favorite player. So they talked about
yeah,
how, or he was talking about how he played through so many injuries. He's played through days where he didn't feel like showing up. And I feel like you do the same thing. So I've seen times where you didn't feel well, but you
yeah.
just like no one would know it. You just smile and you push through. Why would you say, like, why is that important to you? Or how are you able to just on days when you don't feel like showing up or you don't feel like smiling, how do you keep going?
Well, like I'm one of those guys that like, if I'm dealing with anything personal or like you said, I don't feel good, I like to leave at home. When I step outside that door, I don't want anybody to look at me and be like something's bothering him or he's not in a good mood. I don't like that type of energy. I just don't. I never did. I always been this way. And like even in college, we will lose a game. The players won't come out. The fans that stayed. I'm the first one out there with a smile on my face. And I used to say we would deal with this tomorrow in practice. The game is over. We can't change anything right now. I hate losing, but it's a bigger picture here. You know what I'm saying? We got people staying another hour after the game just so we can come out and they want to hug us and give us good advice and give us good energy. So I always been that way. Always.
Yes. So I want to wrap up with something that people, oh, I know like there are a couple of qualities about you that people may not know. I know like from the time I connected with you, I feel like people have seen you, as this athlete, people have seen you traveling the world, people have seen you doing a lot of things. But everyone doesn't know like the full dynamics of Antwan. One of it is that you're an internet troll, that you like to troll folks. But what is something that you think maybe people are surprised to learn about you that they wouldn't expect?
Well, you think I'm a troll for real?
You kind of just a little bit. I know we have a big
What?
rivalry game coming up. You've been trolling some,
Yo,
trolling a
wait.
few folks.
Wait till you see my next post. What people I want to expect from me? Just like I said, who I am, who I really am. People know me for the basketball. Some people kind of be hesitant to come speak because they think you're a certain way, and I'm not that way. I'm a regular guy. I want to be treated like a regular guy, and that's something that I suffer with for a long time. And it's kind of frustrating at times, but I get it. I get it the other way, but. I'm just a regular guy who love to have regular conversation. It's never been about me with anything. You know how I am. So and that's how I like to be treated.
Yes, I feel like I'm forcing you to be a professor today, but this is why. Because the things that you do with I believe like it just seems it's genuine. That's the best way I can say it. I would have said effortless, but I think it's just genuine. And so I would love for you before we wrap up to speak to those athletes that maybe they're not able to continue to show up in the same capacity that they're used to. And now I'm going to shout out Chris Webber, who acknowledged Charles Barkley making a way for people that as they were transitioning out of their professional career, many people can feel like hopeless or kind of stuck, but I feel like you've not only done it for yourself, but you're making opportunities for other people. So what would you say to that athlete that maybe they feel stuck right now and not quite sure of how to maximize the next phase in life?
Well, this conversation I have now with a lot of athletes older than me and even younger than me, because when you've been playing ball your whole life, you start thinking when you get older, what the world am I going to do when I can't do this no more? But I'm the same guy that said I don't want to play after 30 unless I want to play. I don't want to play because I have to play. I want to play because I want to play. There's a big difference. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that was the thing for me, and understanding that early. I think I put that in the college profile in my freshman year. That was a comment I made my freshman year of college. So I tell guys all the time, like, we athletes, kids look up to us. Come back home. You don't always have to be a coach. I tell people, you don't always have to be a coach. Train and develop. I get it why some people call me a coach. I'm not really a coach, you know. I'm not really a coach, but I understand why they call me coach. You know, I respect it. But that's one of the main things is just get back in the community, work with the youth that came up the same way you came up, because you can relate that, and it won't be it won't be difficult for you. You know, it won't be something like you know, if I want to go work at this big company over here or this big company over there, something I've never done before, I have no experience in. We got experience with this, you know. So a lot of guys right now, athletes, former athletes, ask me, "Hey, how did you get started?" And I'm sharing information with them, you know. So that's it.
Yes. And I want to end on this note because you've talked about your grandmother and how much she inspired you growing up and just being able to mimic. And I think about my mom too, who's no longer here. And I'll just have those moments of like, she would have said this, you know, and this, you know, just so many things that she's left with us. Is there something I would say that stands out to you the most, that maybe something that your grandmother said to you that you find yourself leaning on often?
One thing she always told me was just don't let somebody tell me I can't do something. You know, she said, don't let people tell you you can't do something. You know, and a lot of times, you know, when we told we can't do something, sometimes we start feeling like we can't do it if things not going out the way we want it right away. You know, we want results so quick, and it don't happen that way. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of like working out. You know, you're not gonna get it the first day, the second day, the first week. It might take you a month to get results, but you got to stick to the script, stay positive, stay focused, and just keep pushing.
That's the mic drop moment right there. Listen, because you do it so casual. You're like, nah, I really, you know, it ain't nothing. But that right there, y'all, if you didn't catch it, write it down, because if people could understand that it just takes time. And I noticed that when you do certain things, you don't stop. And I call it babysitting the results. You don't like do one thing and then just kind of stop and wait. You have the vision and you run. And I'm going to pick the mic up too from where you just left off. I would say one of the things that my mom has said is kind of right in line with what you said. Your grandmother said her line was, one monkey don't stop the show. So just because someone thinks you can't, just because, you know, people put labels on us, or even we can put labels and define ourselves by who we need to be, how people need to respect us. You're more than a label. And I respect that you just said that even going into college, you knew you were more than just a basketball player. You were more than just, you know, this professional athlete, and you are a coach, like a life coach.
Yeah, true. But like, and you know this story, like when I say it takes time, I got this vision 2014. 2014, when I said this is what I wanted to create. You know, and there was days where, like, you know, I take a piece of paper and put in the middle, 8-way center, just start putting all the branches and just going. You're like, that don't make sense. I'm not gonna be able to do that. And I ball it up, shoot it in the trash can. I start over. I've done that for like a year and a half. And it's the stuff, like I was saying earlier, people don't know the behind the scenes. They only see this. They don't know it took me 6 years to get this. They don't know how many conversations I had with people told me to just give up on it. It's not going to happen. People are not going to support it. I've been dealing with this for 6 years. And here I am, you know.
So, and then I'm for real, we're wrapping up. But there was something that you just said. Shalom. We have someone from Scotland, UK. We have a few people tuning in. Y'all can drop, you know, some encouragement.
I've been there.
You
have?
Been
there before. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes. I love it. I've had my vision since 1985 and I'm weary. Y'all, if you're watching live, you can drop your comments. But it's so good because one thing that you said, Antwan, that always sticks out to me, and I probably quoted it in another show with someone else being interviewed. It was that when I realized when you actually started working on the facility, and from the time you started working on it to when you open it, most people, I hope y'all are listening, most people don't have the patience like to just wait for the excellence instead of rushing the process. So if we can just tie this up in a little bow, this is the last tip for the audience. What either encouragement or advice or anything that you would hope people would leave with around that, around your ability to simply be patient for the excellence instead of just rushing through every good idea that's tossed your way? How do you distinguish?
Well, like I just said, when you believe in something, you truly believe in it. When I see people throw the towel in, a lot of times they didn't really truly believe in it. You know what I'm saying? But like you know when you're doing it from here, it feels different. It just feels different, and this always felt different. When I had guys telling me, "Man, there ain't no money in that. You're doing it for the wrong reasoning." You see? So don't let somebody else tell you you doing it for the wrong reason. That's not gonna work because of this.
Mm.
No, you stick to your plan, your vision, and it's gonna happen. But don't give up. Like some people they quickly give up so easy, and sometimes they give up right when it's about to happen for them.
That
Right
part.
when it's about to happen for them. Because I almost did it with this project.
Mm.
I had another building first, and I was getting so frustrated. I'm out looking for other space because I was giving up, and I make a phone call and I got something perfect for you. That's what the guy said on the phone, and here we are. They ain't wasting.
That's so good. Shout out to Compton. Someone is chiming in from Compton, and I say go after your vision, Misty. That's so good what you just said, because giving up right when you're on the brink, and when you understand that your vision was given to you, it wasn't given to anyone else.
Exactly.
Either people will show you if they're on board, they're gonna roll with you, and if they're not, they either gonna get rolled past or rolled over. But either way,
now look,
you
when
gotta keep going.
for years I was having conversation with people about what I wanted to do, what my vision was. I get the chills.
Mm.
That's how I knew it was real. So if you ain't getting the chills, keep digging. You know what I'm saying? Keep digging. You know what I'm saying? It'll come. But like I said, it give me the chills still to this day. So like I said, it's from the heart. It's my passion, my vision. Just love to do it.
Yes, I get chills. I've shared this with you, Antwan. But one of the things that I do is support people on their goals and their visions. And from the moment you started talking about 8-way, the meaning of the number 8, the reason behind how you named it, people can't help. Again, the right people will get on board and support it. And if they're not the right people, we just don't have time to get distracted, like worrying about convincing other people when it's hard enough to convince yourself. So I'm just like, man, man, this is so good, because it's the simple things. Like a lot of times we want to think that you need 5,000 strategies. It's the simple things.
No, it's real simple. Like people make stuff so difficult. I don't do it for the internet. I don't do it to please this person over here, that person over there. I'm not looking for no clout. I'm not looking for no pat on the back. I'm doing it because it's something that I love to do. That's why it's not work for me. It's just not work. This I get up every morning looking forward to getting here.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to bring you on, because everyone that I've been interviewing lately, it's not work what you do. And when people can find that thing that lights you up so much that even in the face of adversity, even in the face of no's, even in the face of wanting to quit, you can't. Like you keep waking up and you say, I'm gonna do it again. So I want to ask you this. What is that one thing that you would hope anyone watching today, if they're just joining in, anyone that ever connects with 8-way and the movement that you've created, what do you hope they get from you or walk away with?
Stick to the strip. Keeping the main thing. You hear that all the time. Some people got sight, some people got vision. Whatever your vision is, you stick with that. You just stick with that, and I'm telling you, like, I'm getting the chills right now. That's why I'm kind of
Listen, I'm with it.
Yeah. So you already know how I am. So just stick with it. I'm telling you, like I love to see people come up. I love to see people. I had a guy, share this with you real quick. Somebody from the area who I had a conversation with at a cookout, and we got to talking to the side, and I kind of gave him some information on how it took me this long. And he's like, man, I only been trying for a few months, and he felt kind of bad, so like, then later I get a message from him and some good things started happening for him. He's like, man, your conversation really helped me out. You know what I'm saying? I learned to be patient. I learned to, trust in God and what he got planned for me. It's not, I've been trying to rush forever. I wanted something to happen overnight. He said, then I start being more patient. and just letting things come, letting things happen, good things started happening for me. So I love those type of stories. If if that's the only person I ever reach, I'm fine. I hope I keep reaching more people like that. But that's how I know I'm on the right path for doing good things. So.
Yes, I'm like, look, I got 1,000 more questions for you, but I'm not gonna ask them. But because I know so much, like I've been able to just witness your story, and even when you talk about that, even being sensitive to your how you just said, just trusting God in the process, being sensitive to your intuition, not giving up when you want to quit. I'm like, the t-shirt. But can you tell us what 8-Way, that the meaning behind the name 8-Way?
Well, I'll give you, like, on the TV show I was on, my nickname was the eighth wonder of the world, and how I even got that nickname was, it came from a conversation away from basketball. They was trying to find something that stuck with me, and but my name came from a conversation away from the game of basketball. So the guy to give out the nicknames or the MC, we just having a conversation in the hotel lobby, and it ended up turning to like a 2-hour conversation. He's like, man, you're an interesting cat, man. People need to get to know you. And that's just how it started, and he said, I got a nickname for you, but I'm going to tell you at the game when I announce you. So when you hear it, everybody else going to hear it. And he introduced me as the eighth wonder of the world. But what he said was, this is somebody you need to develop a relationship with away from the game of basketball. The way this guy thinks, the way people gravitate to him, the way he inspired people. So that nickname was like perfect. So later on in life, I didn't want to use the eighth wonder of the world as the name of a center. I kind of wanted to get away from it, but we created the logo, which is the 8 and the W. My number was 8. So it all flowed together. It's organic. And like I said, with me being a religion major, the number 8, that means new beginning. And that's the whole theme of the building. It's a new beginning for me, the community, these kids. So it all lined up. Like, it's nothing I really had to think about. It just flows, organic.
Man, listen, I'm like, high five. It's so awesome when it's the simple things, again, that just open doors. So if any of y'all are watching right now, if you have not gotten anything else from what Antwan is sharing, you are more than just a label. You're more than just a title. You're more than just a career. Like, you can make an impact. So how can we, and I know you're probably going to say you good, but there are people watching right now that I really believe want to sow into or just support your vision in any way they can. So how can we get connected with you and support what it is that you're doing?
Social media, everything's at 8-Way Center. The email is on the site, phone number is on the site. I respond quick as I can. We have a lot of pictures, a lot of videos. Here soon I'll be releasing the podcast, so I have more content going out. This was good today. I really don't get on front of cameras like that, but we've been talking about doing this interview, and I'm looking forward to doing more. Hopefully we can come back and keep inspiring the youth like we've been doing together. So it's been a good thing, but that's where you can find me at. And I tell people, just look out for the podcast, and we're gonna have a good time with that as well.
Listen, y'all connect and support, because when I tell you the stories that Antwan has, it's like peeling the onion. It's going to be good. I'm looking forward to the podcast. And Antwan, thank you for taking time out. I appreciate you for coming in and just dropping some nuggets.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. You know how we do over here. So it's all good.
Yes. And thank you for everyone that's watching. Y'all have been sharing so much in the comments, and I appreciate you for supporting this show. If you want to stay connected with me, you can do so across social media at Erica Empowers. That's Erica spelled like America if you're just listening. And as I'm always telling y'all, and I mean this so much, and you just saw evidence of this today, go out and make today amazing. It doesn't matter what happened this morning. Doesn't matter what may come tomorrow. You have access to today. So make the most of it, y'all. Go be so awesome that people have to roll their eyes at you because you're so hyped for no reason. Thanks for watching, and take care.
For more inspiration, visit us online at